This is the Horse Radio Network. This is episode 75 of Horse Tip Daily. A different horse tip, a different equine topic, a different equestrian expert every day. Horse Tip Daily brings the world of equine knowledge to you one day at a time. Enjoy today's tip. I am Glenn McGeek from Lexington, Kentucky, and you're listening to Horse Tip Daily. Today we are thrilled to have back with us internationally respected trainer and clinician Julie Goodnight. Julie, as you know, is best known for her award-winning television show airing weekly on RFD TV called Horse Master with Julie Goodnight. If you've been listening to the show for a while, you know she has been on with us several times. If you want to listen to all of Julie's past tips, you can go to horsetipdaily.com. Can't speak today. Go to horsetipdaily.com, and on the left-hand side of the page, you will see a drop-down menu where you can search for the experts. Just choose Julie Goodnight, and you'll see all her tips lined up there, and you can just play them in order and listen to them. If you've missed her past ones, they're worth taking a listen to. Julie's a lot of fun to speak with, and she's been more than gracious to help us out with tips on the show, and we appreciate that very much. Well, let's get to Julie. Well, hi, Julie, and welcome back to Horse Tip Daily. We appreciate you being here.
Thanks, Glenn. It's good to be back.
You know, it's always fun to have you on. It's always fun to chat with you for a few minutes, although I think sometimes that we don't get enough time to chat because we're both so busy, and that's why I do appreciate you doing this. I'm selfish, I do this show for myself. I tell everybody that. If it benefits other people, that's great, but I'm learning a ton.
All horse people are busy, and so I think it's a great idea to do these quick tips. If we can just learn one little thing in 5 minutes every day, gosh, just think how much you'd learn at the end of the month.
Or then at the end of the year, you do 365 of these, you're going to be teaching Julie's clinics next year. So.
I hope not.
All right, what do you have for us today?
I wanted to talk a little bit about the off-the-track thoroughbred.
We have a few of those here in Lexington, Julie.
Yeah, I guess you do. And there's more coming down the pike every day.
Yes.
And, these days with an abundance of unwanted horses, we're trying to look at ways to salvage horses that would have been otherwise going to the killer pen. And the off-the-track thoroughbreds, those horses still have a lot of life left in them, and in many ways they're great, great horses.
Yeah, in most cases, they're just starting life. I mean,
they're pretty young, and if they're still sound, they've got a whole nother couple of decades ahead of them of usefulness, and they're great horses. In many ways, they're very broke. They're used to being in front of crowds. They're used to being handled and ridden every day, have their feet handled by grooms and vets. So there's a lot of great things about these horses, but people tend to get into a little bit of trouble with them because they don't really fully understand the nature of the training that he got at the racetrack.
Right.
And one thing that, and I sort of had firsthand experience with that because I worked through college riding racehorses on the racetrack.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. I was
an exercise rider.
Exercise rider, yeah.
And which is a great college job, by the way. We'll make that a sub-tip there. For a good rider, it's a great college job because you're finished working by about 8:30 in the morning, and you already had a full days of work in and time to go to classes. So
right, man, you could pick up some pretty good money doing that too.
Yeah, it's not bad for a college job, but.
Right.
One thing I learned about riding horses on the track is that for racetrack horses, when you gallop them, the tighter you hold the reins, the faster the horse goes. When you want the horse to slow down and stop, you loosen the reins up. And this is so counterintuitive to people. And it's a hard thing for people to get, but one of the biggest problems that people have riding off-the-track thoroughbreds is that they have a fear of the horse going too fast, so they tighten the reins so the horse goes too fast.
Exactly.
And it's a really tough thing to tell them to loosen the reins. And, they think you're crazy when this horse is trying to run away with them to loosen the reins. But that's what the horse knows. And so it's one of the biggest mistakes that people make with off-the-track horses is riding them with too tight a rein. When you want the horse to slow down and calm down, you have to loosen the reins. And by the way, this is somewhat true of all horses because in most instances when horses are going too fast, it's because the rider is holding the reins too tight. And what happens is the horse, whether he's off the track or not, he's feeling a lot of discomfort in his mouth from too tight a rein. And what are horses programmed to do when they are uncomfortable or fearful?
Just take
what
off.
Do they do?
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
That's their number one response.
Yeah.
And so that's what happens is the horse starts running, what we call running through the bridle. He's trying to run away. He does not know how to get a release of pressure from his mouth, so he tries to run away from it.
Right.
And again, that doesn't have to necessarily be an off-the-track horse. Any horse is susceptible to that if the rider's holding the reins too tight. So one of the first things we do with horses that are too fast is try to start riding them on a loose rein, and you'd be surprised how often that one little thing will fix the problem.
Huh. So that's what you do.
Just loosen the reins. Now, the problem people get into with the horses that have a lot of go, like an off-the-track horse or any horse can be that type of horse that just has a lot of forward energy. What happens is we know they're going to take off, so we hold the reins tight. Instead of asking them with our seat and hands to slow down and then releasing the reins. That's called a check and release. What happens is we end up in this habit of just constantly checking and never releasing. And if the release doesn't come, the horse doesn't know what to do. He only knows what to do when the release comes. So if I check him up with my weight and with my reins, he will slow down. And the second he slows down, I give him the release. He goes, oh, all I had to do to get the release was to slow down. If the release never comes, he doesn't know what else to do but keep going and go faster to try to get away from that pressure.
Well, and I think in many cases like that the rider in that case is a little inexperienced and that release isn't coming because they're gripping. they're
yes, but it's not necessarily inexperience that causes a rider to do that. Often nervousness and fear, no matter how much experience the person has, will cause them to clenching the reins.
Well, that's a great tip. That's a great tip, Julie. We appreciate that. And they can find out more information about Julie Goodnight at
juliegoodnight.com.
Well, thank you very much, Julie, for being on the show. We appreciate that. If you want to learn more about Julie, it's simple. It's juliegoodnight.com. She was also one of the most popular guests we've ever had on the Stable Scoop Show. You can listen to that interview at stablescoop.com, episode 40. Well, there's no email today. If you'd like to drop me an email so I actually have something to read on the show, you can do it at Glenn with 2 N's at horseradionetwork.com. Also, don't forget you can subscribe to the show through iTunes or Zune. Just follow the links on the website. And also, we have tons of other great shows, eventing, dressage, the World Equestrian Games Show. We have them all at horseradionetwork.com. Well, I'll be back again tomorrow with another new expert and a different horse tip. Until then, stay safe, everyone.